from Mike Kimmel. I own and operate Martin County Trapping and Wildlife Rescue, and I am a state contracted python hunter. I got into this, I'd say, growing up. I've always been really into wildlife, especially reptiles. Started breeding and selling my own reptiles as a kid. That's how I used to make allowance. Chameleons, snakes, poison dart frogs, toads, everything you can imagine. And I started to volunteer with FWC. I would go out with one of their officers and do nuisance alligator removals. My job was to get on the back of the alligator and tape it up. So the officer would hook the alligator with a pole, bring it in for me to essentially wrestle and tape up. And then from there, I started doing my own stuff. So invasive species have pretty much taken over Florida for the most part, especially South Florida. Iguanas have taken over all of the residential and commercial areas. They poop everywhere, spreading illnesses, salmonella, and they've also reported recently them taking over different wildlife burrows, including the burrowing owl, which is a threatened species here in Florida. So they've been having huge impacts on our wildlife. The Burmese python in particular has wiped out 90 to 99% of our small fur-bearing wildlife out in the Everglades. Our wading birds, our raccoons, possums, squirrels, marsh rabbits, otters, it's all gone essentially. And it's directly because of the Burmese python. So, you know, they're definitely changing our state for the worst, and we need to get a hold on things. That's why the state has hired individuals like myself to remove these invasive species. The state only pays me for Burmese pythons. Everything else is on my own. I do it because I love animals. I love our wildlife, and they're affecting our wildlife and our ecosystem. It's important to me to be in the field doing that sort of work to make sure it's done correctly. Here I have a 5-acre wildlife rescue ranch where I spend countless hours and countless dollars helping, saving, rehabbing. We have wildlife coming in and going. They come in sick and injured. I rehab them, rescue them, find them new homes, or release them back in the wild if I'm able. Conservation comes naturally. Some of the strongest conservationists we have here in Florida are hunters. If you love the outdoors and you love hunting, you're gonna wanna preserve it. You're gonna wanna protect it. I love it, man. I love my work. If you were to tell me when I was a little kid that my job would be to go catch giant Burmese pythons here in Florida, I'd be the happiest little kid in the world. It's a dream scenario for me, you know what I mean? I'm getting paid to go out and catch all these animals and reptiles and snakes that I grew up being obsessed with. So I couldn't be happier with my job. It gives me a great sense of pride. I like working hard, and it's hard work.